Bray, you asked me if you can go 3-1, and that one loss either comes to the Jets or the Packers.
Yeah.
What would you feel better with?
Yes.
And the answer to me is an easy one. I would feel better, much better, losing this week to the Jets than losing that Week 18 game against the Packers, because so much could be on the line in that game against the Packers, and the Packers are an inferior team to you.
Right.
I don't think there's any shame in going to New York, playing against a desperate football team that is trying to get into the playoffs, a tough football team. You go on the road and lose that game, and then you come back and win the final 3 games. I don't think there's any shame in that. You finish 9-8 and maybe out of the playoffs, perhaps. I think that is my preferred track in this hypothetical situation.
Not me.
Yeah,
I want to get to 7-7. I need to see a 500 team. I need it. Then I need to get to 8-7, and then 9-7, and then if I lose to the Packers at 9-8, and I'm still making the playoffs, you're saying?
No.
It's a chance that I might not make the playoffs, but I still might.
Yes, exactly.
You need other teams to help you.
Yes. Either way, you're going to need some
playoffs are on the line. You go and lose the game.
I'm sorry. I'm taking the win this week. I need to see 500.
You know what's interesting is I shredded on both lines and both sides because I've seen it. It's like, yo, you know what? You could lose to the Jets. They're a good team. But then if you watch yourself beat 3 NFC opponents in a row, especially 2 divisional opponents, and then you finish 3 in a row, if you don't make it, all right, cool, but you still finished 1, 2, 3 wins in a row. You won 9 or you won 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 games. That's a hell of a way. That's a hell of a way to go into the offseason. But you know what? I'm kind of like Maz, but a little more expounding on that. I want to beat the best team left. The best team left that the Detroit Lions play is going to be this week against the New York Jets. To go there in a playoff atmosphere at MetLife, to go in there knowing you need this win, to go against a team in Robert Saleh, well, you know Robert Saleh wants this win. He wants to be able to come home today morning and talk a little you know what. To go up there with everything on the line and how people are talking about you, greasing you up, lathering you up with comments and compliments and talking about how good you guys are. To go there this week and get that win and continue what you're doing, you know what? I think that says a lot about who they are. I think that says more about who the Lions are trying to become, who they are becoming. So I would rather them go there, win this game, and then beat Carolina and beat Chicago and then lose to Green Bay and have to figure it out and maybe sneak in, maybe not. I would rather that to happen because I think this win against the New York Jets on the road, playoff atmosphere, this is the first playoff atmosphere the Detroit Lions have really been in. They go up there and win, says a lot about them.
I will say that I feel, again, just to bring back something that I said in the first segment of the show, I feel like the 2022 Detroit Lions have really shed some demons and shed some stink off of the history of this franchise. And I think if the playoffs are on the line, if you are 9-7 going into Green Bay with a playoff spot on the line and you lose that game, I don't think you feel as good about the season as if you go and win that game, because then you would bring back conversations of the past. Well, remember in 2016 when the Lions were 9-6 and played Green Bay in the final week of the season with a division title on the line.
Enter Matt Flynn.
What did they do? They lost the game. Oh, what about in 2017 when the Lions were 9-7 and had a chance to beat the Bengals? They lost that game. I mean, it's just one of those things. It brings back bad memories if you consistently lose games with such significance on the line. That's why I would much rather lose this week to the Jets and finish out with 3 straight wins, and then you play it out as it were, as opposed to losing that last game against the Green Bay Packers.
Hey, Ryan, Maz, you guys ready for this? How about we just not lose?
Yeah, right.
How about we just not lose?
It's a pretty good hypothetical,
It is, though. Which one? Yeah.
Let's be honest. Are the Detroit Lions a 9-1 football team? Are they a 9-1 football team?
Not many teams are.
The Buffalo Bills are not.
Right.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills do not have any no matter how you adjust their schedule. They do not have
I will say
a
this.
10-game stretch where they won 9 games.
Ryan, let me answer that question for you. Playing in the NFL, and I don't ever bring that up. I'm lying. I do bring that up. But playing in the NFL, like Ryan, I've gone 9-1 once. Mm-hmm. If you're a 9-1 team, I mean, if you go 9-1, Ryan, you're a 9-1 team. No matter how it happens, no matter if there's some you get some luck along the way, because you're gonna have to get some luck. Whether you're playing outstanding football, whether you catch a couple breaks, whether somebody just goes on a tremendous run at quarterback or wide receiver or kick returning or punt returning, like Dante Hall that one time for the Kansas City Chiefs. If you're 9-1. Then you're a 9-1 football team because you made it happen. You got it. You made it. Because after 2 wins, 3 wins, 4 wins, it's like, all right, it's going to set in. Here's 5 wins. It's going to set in. Here's 6 wins. It's going to set in. You get to 9-1 and never set in, which means you're a 9-1 football club.
You know,
I think I'd rather lose to Carolina out of all 4 of the games.
Maybe.
That would be the game I would say, okay, I'll lose this game.
So that means you win the Jets and then you win the last 2.
Yeah, win the last 2.
That's an interesting one.
I want to get to 500 in the worst way. Because I don't remember the last time the Lions were ever 500.
You could do that at 8-8 in my scenario.
I know, but I want it now. I want it now.
I think it's very true.
They dug a hole, 1-6. To get to even money is great.
The only thing, too, I know people are going to be talking about this in the chat. I know you guys are keeping up on it. You don't want to lose to the NFC teams. That's just the only thing. You don't want to lose any head-to-heads, any tiebreakers, things like that. So losing to the NFC teams, I can see people saying that. So I can see a lot of people in the chat saying they would rather lose to the Jets as opposed to the NFC teams.
Guys, let me transition this conversation to just all the flowers that the Lions have received. This is in Pro Football Talk, a story. Jared Goff, here's the quote. I think that's the biggest challenge for us right now is to show our maturity, show that we can handle a little bit of praise and handle a little bit of people thinking that we're good and not change the way that we are approaching each week. That is a quote from Jared Goff. Can this football team handle being called good?
I think so. And it's a great thought. It's a great question by Jared Goff. You talk about guys wanting to be leaders. You talk about guys stepping up. This is a guy in Jared Goff who we ask, can he be the leader of the Detroit Lions? He's been in the NFL. He's been to a Super Bowl. He is now in year 8, or I believe he's in year 8. Can he be a guy to step up? To ask a question like that, Ryan, that's stepping up as a leader. You want guys to know things like that because getting a lot of compliments when you're not used to having them, when you're used to being a 3-13-1 team, when you're used to being a 1-6 team, when you start to get some compliments, when people nationally start talking about you, when you hear Pat McAfee mention your name, when you hear Sean Payton and various names that you know all around the country that are going to be Hall of Fame players, Hall of Fame analysts, when they mention your name and give you credit, sometimes you get a little, okay, I'm feeling myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, you heard what they said about us? You heard what they said about me, and now you go into the game and you get your ass whooped. So can you get some compliments? Can you take some compliments and still put forth the work from Monday to Sunday, getting ready for another game? That's a great question. That's a great thought process. I love that that's where his mind is at because those guys are going to listen to Jared Goff because he's shown them that he can be the leader.
And honestly, it's probably been about 8 years or so from the time that anybody really thought the Lions were good.
Yeah.
And we had mentioned the 2016 team, the 2017 team. Both teams finished 9-7 or what have you. But did anybody really consider the team good at that point? Did anybody really consider the Detroit Lions a threat at that point?
Just
and I don't believe
a bubble team. That's it.
I don't believe they were ever a threat. I mean, that's not a team that you feared if you drew them in the playoffs, whether it was Seattle, New Orleans, whoever.
This is the team that's feared because I don't think anybody wants to play this team right now. They're averaging, I don't know what exact their average is, but we know they can put up 30 points.
29.3 points per game over the last 6 games.
There you go. 30 points a game. You want to play a team like that scoring 30 points a game and doing it well.
And they're only allowing 20 points a game, by the way.
And now they're getting healthy. They're healthy. They're probably one of the healthiest teams in the league, and you get a kid like Jameson Williams, your number 1 pick, the 12th pick overall, now starting to get loose. They're going to have to put eyes on him.
Dan Campbell talked about Jameson Williams this week, and you talk about that progress. JMO did a little bit 2 weeks ago, did a little bit more last week, and he will do a little bit more even this week at New York. Here's Dan Campbell.
He's very coachable, and there was a couple of things he came off, and I know that he knew immediately.
So Dan Campbell basically talking about the fact that Jamison Williams is progressing, and they are going to continue to give him more and more and more and more. And it's pretty exciting to see where teams might be slowing down right now.
Yeah.
The Lions are actually ramping up.
This is what you expect, and this is what you want. You talk about the Detroit Lions last year. You talk about how hard they fought last year, but how many meaningless games that they played in, and that's both teams involved in the game. This year, it's only one meaningless team in each game, and that's the team that the Detroit Lions are going to be playing against after this New York Jets game. They are ready. They are focused. They are coming to it. We talk about catching fire at the right time, catching fire and catching that roll, and that's what they're doing. They're catching fire and they're catching that roll right in terms of right before Thanksgiving, riding it all the way into January. It's going to be fun to watch this thing unfold, and I'm glad it's starting at MetLife. And oh, by the way, your boy will be there.
Who you going to be rooting for? No.
All right.
Tell me how you're going to be able to do this, because you're actually going to be speaking to the Jets team.
Yeah,
you'll be breaking them down.
So in New York, as I'm stuttering on the spot. No, but in New York I'll be fine because I'm cheering for the Jets. I'm cheering for the Jets out loud. I'm cheering for the Jets. They brought me in. They gave me a chance. You know, so it's a great opportunity, and I love the Jets. I love what we accomplished when I was there. So yeah, I'll be cheering for them out loud, but secretly, way down in the small places, just like the Grinch that you saw on Christmas, which it's about that time to pull that movie out as well. I'll be cheering for the Lions because this is where I spend my time. I spend my time in Detroit. It's good to see the city come back, and I'm excited to see the fans excited about a chance potentially being in the playoffs. So secretly, down deep inside, I'm cheering for the Detroit Lions. I want them to win because this is where I lay my hat and make my money. So
hey,
Detroit Lions.
See if you can grab me a helmet while you're there. Just
helmet?
sneak one out of the
sneak one?
locker.
Okay.
It's got to be stuck out of the locker room.
Take that on the plane with you, Bray.
Yeah.